Well, it seems that nearly every time you pick up a paper or turn on the TV, it's the same story. Unemployment is up, job openings are down. But according to our guest today, that's not necessarily the case if you're the fairer sex. Here to talk more about this is Dr. John Pataikes, criminal justice expert at Seton Hall University and also a professor. Thank you for joining us so much.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. So first off, let's talk about which field this is that all of a sudden needs more women.
Well, actually, all the positions in criminal justice have been pretty much opened up for female offenders. A lot of them are attracted to the counseling.
Hold on, female offenders?
I'm sorry. Female
employees.
Female employees.
Okay.
For example, probation and parole officers do a lot of counseling, okay, and supervision of offenders. And so therefore, a lot of females have good counseling, de-escalation skills. Their interpersonal skills have a calming effect a lot of times. So probation, parole, victim witness counselors, perhaps counselors in the prison, a lot of them are females or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think a lot of females aren't aware of that there's equal opportunity and sometimes even an advantageous opportunity for a lot of related careers in criminal justice.
Sure. I would think that going into the criminal justice field could be intimidating to some women, but because there are counseling jobs that are available, some women may gravitate towards that. But what about police officer jobs, security in prisons, in the jail system? What about jobs like that? Are those still available for women as well?
Oh, certainly, certainly. Now, you know, many of the positions in criminal justice are civil service, meaning that there's a state exam you have to take. All right, so that's pretty objective. Whoever scores the highest gets, you know, the nod for the position or whatever. So a lot more females are applying for those positions. So you'll see an increasing number of female police officers. You'll see female correction officers in the state prisons. And pretty much in all the positions. So, plus there's a higher percentage of females going for further education in this country, okay? Half of our students at Seton Hall in criminal justice are females, okay? So, you know, there is a lot more opportunity and a lot more entering the fields now, you know.
Now, I would think that this is there's probably been an increase in women in this field for quite some time now. So what is the new information that's coming out regarding this career field?
Well, they're doing a lot of advertising to attract people from many different cultures also. It's a big advantage if you speak another language or several other languages, if you have good technical skills, and certainly further education. A lot of students are going for the bachelor's degree. Well, the bachelor's degree has almost become like the high school diploma was. So I advise students that you have to distinguish yourself now with either further education like a master's, be able to speak several other languages, do several internships, so you have some experience to relate, you know, to the organization.
Mm-hmm. So there are different levels, of course, of education that would make you more prepared for certain types of jobs in this field. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, all right, the entry-level position for a lot of positions or requirement is a college degree, but not necessarily. The police departments vary from county to county, state to state. Some require no college, some 60 credits, some a 4-year degree. But obviously, from the employer's point of view, if I'm hiring, I'm going to look for the best educated person. So if I have somebody with a master's, a law degree, a PhD, and those people are applying for some of the higher level positions in criminal justice, they're probably going to get the nod, you know. So certainly, you know, the further education would be an advantage to them, you know.
Are there enough positions to go around for those people who are going and seeking the higher education?
That's a good question. They're going to have to be flexible. And again, I always tell students, have at least 3 choices. Your first choice, a second, and a third backup. So if you really wanted to be a police officer, let's say, in New Jersey it's pretty competitive. There's a lot of people competing. So maybe you want to start off in private security first, get some experience, or in some other related field. And then once you have the experience, you're a better candidate for that organization a year or 2 later. So to answer your question, there may not necessarily be right away your first choice, but be prepared to take a second or third alternative. You know.
Right, sure. So be flexible. Are there any niche jobs that maybe people don't know about that they should look into?
Well, you know, ever since 911, you know, unfortunately, that incident happened, but it also created a lot of other positions in Homeland Security and in other private security companies, et cetera. So a lot of positions in Homeland Security, interpreting positions, okay. Private security companies are now, you know, getting a big boost because a lot of law enforcement agencies aren't hiring a lot or even laid off people, so they're gravitating, they're picking up the slack in private security. So that's another alternative.
Do you think there's pressure for the agencies to hire women before they look at male applicants?
Not necessarily, unless there was some discrimination or affirmative action suit filed. Okay, if there was discrimination in the past or whatever, then sometimes agencies are looking to make up for that or whatever. A number of years ago, the state police hired one class of all-female cadets because they wanted to increase the number of female state troopers or whatever. Okay, so yes, if there is a strong need or whatever, then you'll find an accentuation on that. But again, pretty much when it comes to civil service, which about half the exams are, or hiring it's the highest scores, no matter who.
Well, very interesting. We could go on and on about that, but we won't because we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, thank you.